how when you first went back to India, like we'd go back to Pakistan in the holidays in the summer,
Yeah, yeah,
and it would be
yeah, yeah,
like family lives there. We went there, but now we come back. We live in Dubai. Then I lived in
yeah,
Pakistan for a stretch for 10 years.
yeah.
Was India different for you when you went back for an extended period of time as an adult versus holiday trips?
Yeah, because I mean, when I was going on my holiday trips, I would just spend time with like my grandparents
Yeah.
and, uncles and cousins. And so I never really, we used to take trips, but it was like, chalo aaj, like we'll go to Agra or like,
Mm.
little like trips around the place, Shimla chalte hain,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
things
yeah.
like that. When I went back and I was, I lived by myself and traveled wherever we picked up stories, I just kind of went and I did a lot of like solo travel as well. Like I spent a couple of months in Ladakh. That was my
Mhm.
first. Yeah, it was different for sure. I think I like, got to know the place a lot better and um I wouldn't say reconnected with my roots. I don't want to call it that. I think diaspora make a really big deal out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
I just got to know the place. I think I got to know it's just like living anywhere, to be honest, you know. A matter of time. Spent more time there than any
Right,
other
right.
previous. So
It's I'm
yeah.
glad you said the thing about that you didn't really feel like this eye-opening reconnection, mango juice in my veins kind of thing that I read about on the internet. Like it's just
I think it's really overhyped,
yeah.
like I this is what I always say to my like all my other diaspora friends, like, oh, when I go back, when people say, I come here, like I'm in a foreign country in the UK, Australia, America.
Hmm.
I don't feel American. I don't look like anyone here. Um, people don't really accept me, but racism is a huge issue. So that I'm not discounting any of that. And they'll say things like, when I go back to Pakistan or India, or Bangladesh, people don't treat me like I belong there either. They think I'm
Yeah.
like an American.
Yeah.
Uh, um, they don't kind of respect that I'm also like as much as cultured. And I don't think so on one hand, I can accept the racism argument. I think that's completely valid. But was my personal opinion, is when diaspora go back to the motherland or the
Hmm.
homeland, I don't think it's, you know, people there are like culturally feeling like culturally you don't belong. I think it's a class thing. Like you've
Sure.
come back and now your pocket money is, more than, your cousin's like monthly salary, right? Of course, they're not gonna like think of you as like you don't belong from here. Like that's
Right.
kind of the way. And that's not to say that people have like massively jumped class barriers, but it's just purchasing power of currency at the end of
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah.
You're earning in dollars and you're coming back and spending in rupees, and then you're saying, "Oh, people don't treat me like I belong." Or like, you're like a Nawab now. Of course, people aren't gonna.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think it's a huge identity thing
And
as
also
much as
perhaps there's a
I think
lot
it's
of
a class
like
thing. I think it's a class thing.
cultural stuff that you've just been different with. Like you grew up with, even just
Yeah,
with TV and movies in
exactly.
India, Pakistan, it's a different thing. Like so
Yeah,
many people in Pakistan are hooked onto like Bollywood stuff. And
yeah,
Pakistan doesn't have a lot of its own, but there are
yeah,
Pakistani shows and stuff, which I never saw. So
yeah,
I'm constantly missing those references because when I was a teenager, they were watching it. I
yeah.
wasn't in Pakistan. So maybe that's it. What's